In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about how I think about being the best father that I can be and becoming better every single day at being dad. This is something that I asked myself before my son was even born was how do I be a great father to him and a great father to future children that we may have, my wife and I. And when I thought about this, the serial entrepreneur in me thought about different ideas that I could create around how to become a great dad. And one of those ideas was Facets of Fatherhood. I actually have this .com, facetsoffatherhood.com. And within that, I created a framework that I could follow to be the best version of myself when it comes to being a father to him. And that's family, finance, fitness, faith, fun. All those things combined will help me earn freedom and flexibility to be the best father that I could possibly be. So in any given moment, if I'm asking myself, did I show up today and check off being a great dad? I can look at the framework of family. Did I invest in my family? Not just him, but did I showcase that investing in your family is a priority? So his mother, my wife, did I invest time into her? Our immediate family, brothers and sisters, mothers and dads. Does he see me investing into our family? Is it a staple? Is it a core value to care about those that we love, the people that we say that we love and that have loved on us for a long time? Then financially, am I focused on providing, not just for him and future children, but to give us the freedom and flexibility that I was talking about so that I can spend more time with him? Because at the end of the day, that's really what the financial aspect is about, is how does it buy us more time as parents to invest into our children, the time that we have. That's really what I care about. Fitness, so health, my health, making it a top priority so that he sees that and he does it for himself, but then also I'm buying myself more time and health span to be with him, our family, our friends, our community for a long period of time. Fun. Are we having fun? What's the point of life if we're not having fun? So every day, did I do something that was fun with him? And am I showing him that life is not just about the finances and being healthy and always striving to be productive, but having fun? How do we do it every single day? Even if it's just in the small moments. Are we laughing? Are we having new experiences? Are we chasing our curiosity? Can we check that off at the end of each day? And then faith. How are we as spiritual human beings? What do we believe in? When things get hard, where's our mind going? Who are we looking to fill our cup individually so that we can pour it out into the world? He's going to be looking to me for these things. And that's why I wanted to provide this framework for myself so that at any given moment I can think about, am I doing the best that I can in these areas? And I want to make it clear that these aren't in ranked order. It's not 1 through 5. Like, I value these as they're all important. And if I fail at one, I'm failing the rest of them because they all come together to combine and make me a better man, a better husband, a better father. And if one is lacking, then I'm not accomplishing my goal. And I think, especially in entrepreneurship and those with careers that they're trying to climb the totem pole, we give grace to people around, oh, like they changed the world, but they were a terrible father. And I don't want that. I don't care if somebody makes a ton of money, but then is a shitty father. I don't look up to that person at all. They shouldn't have become a father in the first place if their career was their number one thing. That's just my viewpoint. I believe that the world needs more men that are investing just as much energy into their family and their children as they are into their work. Now, do I believe that you shouldn't be working hard and having your own passion in your career? No, you should give the time that it deserves, because you deserve to build something of your own, whether it's in a corporate career or your own business. That's something that I believe brings value to everyday life for everyone. It could be art, it could be community, however you want it to look. That makes you a better individual for your children and for the people that you're around. But should it be who you are and everything? Not if you want to have the best relationship as possible with your children. I don't believe in balance. I don't think that it's possible to live in balance right now. My son's 17 months old. My career side is out of balance a little bit. I'm learning how to adapt in that arena because he is the priority. I've flipped what the priority is, and he is the number one priority. So I'm trying to adjust in other areas of my life so that he can remain that priority. Rather, I think a lot of people, the other areas remain the priority, and then the children get the scraps. And I don't want that to happen. Within these frameworks, I also broke down different bullet points to think about so that I can understand whether or not I'm doing a great job in that particular segment. And I'm going to run through these right here, right now. And hopefully y'all can gain some value from this and implement it into your own life. So when I think of family, I think of building strong relationships and deep relationships, not just with my kids, but with my parents, with my wife's parents, with our brother and sister-in-laws, our nieces and nephews. I want to build strong relationships with our family because when shit hits the fan, and it will at certain times in life, those are the people that you truly can rely on. I have a lot of really close friends that I know I can rely on as well, and I treat them like family. They know that. So I don't just have my blood family. I have friends who've become family because I've invested in spending quality time with them rather than just quantity, because a lot of them don't necessarily live near me. I do my best to FaceTime, call when I can, and maintain those relationships. My son, Aiden, will see that. He will see that I'm investing in those, and hopefully it guides him on doing the same in his future. And building these strong relationships is the foundation of that. The bedrock of that is communication. It's something that I failed at in the past, was communicating that I wanted to maintain these relationships. And instead of thinking this person should be reaching out to me and they should be the one investing, like, why don't I be the one that just leads? And I'm going to invest in these relationships because that makes me a better me, which makes me a better husband, which makes me a better father, which makes me a better man, which makes me the best that I can be in this current moment. And I can continue to work towards that. When I think of investing in relationships and the communication, another bullet that I kind of tapped on earlier is balancing all that. The only way to get even close to balance is understanding your boundaries and your constraints. So that's another thing with family, is you got to create clear boundaries for your family. What are the constraints? So a boundary for me is I need to stop work by a certain hour because I must have dinner with my family at 5 p.m. every single day. And I'm setting the standard when my child can't even talk to me yet, because I know in the future we're going to have dinner and that's going to be a time for us to catch up as a family and then prepare for the evening. He's probably going to go off to sports or do something creative. Hopefully he's asking me to hang out with him and do certain things with him. And that's predicated on me investing in the time on the front end where I'm building this foundation with him, communicating it with him, and really creating a space that has clear values. And that's the last little bullet for family, is like, what values and principles do we live by? And how do I write them down? And not only tell them to my kids, but show them, act upon them so that they are inspired to then take action and live through those values. That's how you build a legacy. That's what I'm after, is providing a space for my children that fosters deep relationships, inspires communication, and provides the values that they need to thrive throughout the rest of their lives. I'm going to go a little bit quicker now. We're going to go into fitness, which is a big passion of mine, is setting an example right from the get-go. Is how do I showcase to them that fitness and health is a priority every single day? And we incorporate that, my wife and I, into our family activities. So on Saturday and Sunday, we are going to downtown, running on the lake. Or when we travel, one of the first things we do when we get off the plane is go work out outside somewhere, go walk around somewhere, go explore. This then helps us mentally. It'll showcase to them how movement of the body is a priority, being outside is a priority, which then will help the anxiety and other stressors that we have as human beings that we experience as adults. We also experience them as children. I can already tell when my son is getting a little bit bottled up and anxious, he can't communicate. We immediately go outside for a walk, him pushing his little lawnmower that he's obsessed with. It instills in them that when life seems overwhelming, we can rely on what one of our priorities is, which is working out, moving our bodies. And then as long as we show up and we do that mentally, we're going to feel a lot better. And one of the best parts is we get to do that as a family. And I think that's something that I want to inspire other families to have, is investing in that type of activity together, making health and wellness a priority for your entire family, making self-care something that's not a luxury, but a staple in your life. Finance. How do you teach financial literacy from a very young age? And the best way to teach is to have them learn as they're going. So Aiden already has a bank account of his own. So when he becomes 4 or 5 years old, I'm going to talk to him about his account and how he can accumulate wealth from a very young age, how to understand expenses. So in terms of food and other expenses that happen in life, school, books, things that I feel most children are not learning about. They see toys and things just show up in the house and they don't understand that there's an expense to that. There's a cost to that. And helping him understand what is worth the cost, what is worth a certain price, what is money worth, and truly helping him to feel that experiences and family and things that really can't be bought have the highest amount of worth to them. So how do you invest in them with $1? This is something I'm going to be teaching him throughout his childhood and helping him plan for his own future. And that's the last bullet for finances. Reverse planning is helping him set goals. And then how does he stack up enough wealth to hit a goal? So maybe he's playing sports and he wants new cleats, or he wants a skateboard, or he wants to go on this trip with his friends. How does he set a goal? And then how does he accumulate enough money to make that goal come to reality? Teaching that from a very young age. Faith, spiritual growth. How do we as a family have discussions that talk about the purpose of life and why we're here and why it's important to be empathetic and kind and gritty and willing to give even when you don't have much to give? The important things that are easy to forget about when life is so busy and consumed by making sure that all the X's and O's happen throughout the day. We have a lot of responsibilities as adults. When you become parents, it gets even more apparent how little time we actually have to just take a step back and think about some of these things. But that's where consistency really matters. It's opening up the conversation frequently. I look at the word consistency and frequency and intensity a lot. Those 3 words is how do we increase the frequency that we're having conversations with our kids around them, not just as physical beings and what they're doing in terms of sports and academics, but as spiritual beings. Like, how are you doing? What's your mental game like? What do you believe in? Why do you believe in it? and encouraging our children to explore and question beliefs while fostering an environment that's respectful to other people. So it's okay to question. We want to leave room for debate, and we want to inspire and encourage seeking truth without putting down other ways of being. Last thing, fun. The importance of play, being a kid, remaining a kid. I am somebody who advocates, especially for men, to think about your inner child. Think about who you were as a kid. What did you love to do? Why did you love to do it? Why did you stop doing those things? When you have a child of your own, it opens up some space for you to tap back into that and enjoy those moments and really connect with them over play. How do you create traditions around play? So maybe every day after school, you're playing with them. Maybe before work every day, you're doing some type of tradition where you're shooting hoops with them, or you're reading books with them, or you're watching a documentary with them. How do you tap into what play looks like for you and then involve them in that? It's interesting for my wife and I, because what looks like work to others is actually play to us. For instance, this podcast, or going on a run, or training at a gym, or going to a fitness class. It might look like a lot of work, and some of the content we create, I mean, it is a lot of work, but it doesn't feel like it. It's play. So how do we help our children find areas of their life that not only look like play, but allow them to tap into true work, and it feels like play to them, because that's where the special sauce is. Maybe it's writing, maybe it's public speaking. There's a lot of different arenas in life that blend work and play. And why this is so important to me is because if our children can find that and tap into it when they're younger, they can go on and live a life where their work actually is play to them. And that provides a sense of peace and freedom that I feel like a lot of people out there are lacking. Now, I want to make sure that this doesn't come without balancing responsibilities and fun. They have certain responsibilities in life that they must take care of. And that's something that I will instill in them, is that there's certain things that need to happen, that must happen every day for you to then have the fun, for you to then have the freedom. It doesn't come at a cost of zero. There is a cost to earning that flexibility and that freedom. It's one of the reasons I created this framework, because it's not only just for dads and fathers, it can be used for anybody to think about how do they want to improve themselves as an individual, as a human being, and go out into the world and then help the world become a better place because they are a better individual. The last thing I want to tap into is exploring new activities, living in new places, having the curiosity to take on projects and join companies and work on different jobs that might be a little bit out of your comfort zone. Exploring new opportunities and new activities to add story to your life. That, when we think back on our life, is a lot of fun. In the moment, it might not seem as fun because it might be scary. There might be fear around it. You might not know exactly what you're doing. But later on in life, if we look back, a lot of the most fun we had, those fun times, were when something was scary and we took on that challenge and we're proud of ourselves. It turned out to be a really fun experience for us after the fact. And that's something that I really want to teach my children, is that there is several different ways that this word fun can be seen. It's not just play video games and that's fun, or go to the movies and that's fun, or buy a bunch of toys every Christmas and that's fun. Humans are more complicated than that. And if they can understand that from a very young age and tap into 360 degrees of fun, going all the way around, tapping into those different arenas, they're going to live a fantastic life. This is the Facets of Fatherhood. I don't know exactly where I'm going to go with this, but it's something that I feel I've been called to talk about at this point in my life. I think about being a better dad every single day. I think about how I'm failing in a lot of different ways every single day. I'm failing at these 5 Fs in little ways. I would say that I've conquered the big rocks, but some of the little rocks I need to work on. One of them being the fun that I just talked about. How do I have more fun in the little moments and not stress some of the things that I'm stressed about financially? For fitness, how do I tap into the space where I don't view it as much as work and as a chore? Because when I'm in a training environment, that's what it can feel like sometimes, to how do I tweak it so that it remains something that is flow state for me? And for my family, how do I continue to build deeper relationships with everyone in my family that I really truthfully care about, and let them know that I care about them through action, not through words, and inspire them to do the same thing? And that's what I am hoping for from this episode, is to inspire you to take note of these different areas of your life and really grade yourself on how you're doing. Are these pillars in your life right now? And if they're not pillars, how do you introduce them as pillars? And then once you introduce them as pillars, how do you reflect every day on, are you living up to this pillar? And if you're not, instead of beating yourself up over it, be honest with yourself and say, it's okay, I'm a human being. I'm not going to be perfect. The goal is not to be perfect in any of these areas. You're not going to be. Your life is way more complicated than that. You're going to fail at one of these every single day. But that doesn't mean that you can't look at these and strive for perfection. We can strive to be perfect and give grace to ourselves at the same time, knowing we will never get there. I will never get there as a dad. I'm going to fail. He's going to love me on some days. He's going to hate me on some days. But if I do my job, I do my duty as a father and instill these things in him, he will live a life that goes on to inspire other people around him. He will go on to live a life that has purpose, and he will go on to live a life that when he reflects back, he is feeling a sense of gratitude that he had a father that cared enough to even think about this stuff and then pass it on to him. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Thrive on Life podcast. If you like this idea of Facets of Fatherhood and believe that I should build it into something more, maybe it's a newsletter, maybe it's a book, I have no idea, but I'm always opening conversations up to other people that might attach themselves to something that I also believe in. So if that's you and you think that this is something that should be invested in, let me know. Let's chat. Let's collaborate. Till next time, thrive on, y'all.